Hey, how's it going, my dudes? Welcome back to another video. Today I'll be talking a little bit about Leviathan 10. My voice is a little bit fast because this video might be a little bit long, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So I'm gonna start the video talking a little bit more about what the main few heroes I believe you should have in order to run Leviathan 10. And without further ado, let's start off with Necromancer, the free-to-play hero that you can craft yourself. You can combine him yourself. So the reason why he's so good is because of Immortal Aura. So at the start of the turn, you have a 100% chance at max skill to erase one negative status effect from all allies except for stuns and the such. So for each effect removed, restore his own HP. That doesn't really matter. And secondly, he has a AoE very good chance of deploying this attack debuff skill. So it's a very big attack debuff, which is always useful, especially in bosses such as the Colossus Catacombs, and it also works for Leviathan as well. So these two skills combined make him an excellent pick to be your cleanser. So this is the first unit that I would recommend. In fact, I would recommend him to be your leader as well because he has a 33% leader HP for your whole team. So moving on, the next hero, sorry, I keep saying character, I don't know why. The next heroes that I believe are very useful are either Druid or Selene. So this is Druid and this is Selene. So why that's the case? Because they both, this is the one. They both have a very strong heal. They both have a heal that takes off in the subsequent turns, and this regen effect for the subsequent turns is actually where the money is at, because Leviathan will be applying a lot of dots. So in order for you to survive the dots, you need to be able to heal along with the dots as well, so that you completely negate the effect of the dots entirely. So Purifying Rain, that's really useful here. And Selene also has Celestial Lotus, which is slightly stronger. It heals 30% and Druid heals 20%. So these two are awesome picks for Leviathan. They're natural picks. So if you do have them, good for you. If not, I think Holy Cleric. I don't really know whether Holy Cleric is enough because the heal might not be frequent enough. So regen is always important. And then moving on, the third hero in your comp should be a turn cycler. So what are turn cyclers? First, the very free to play friendly Windwalker. Okay, so what Windwalker does is you grant an ally with a full energy meter so they can take the turn immediately, and also you restore a little bit of their HP, which is just a cherry on top. But Wind's Blessing is what's very good here. 30% energy to all allies, and you haste them for 3 turns. So this is a very good buff. With a cooldown of only 3 turns, you would be able to keep boosting your team very regularly. Your team will constantly be on a haste buff. So awesome. This is an awesome pick for turn cycling. Very good. And of course, the other one would be everyone's, well, maybe the more popular Harpy. Okay, and the reason is, as usual, Siren's Blessing. You reduce all your allies' cooldown by 1 turn and you grant them haste for 1 turn. So naturally, this is the kind of turn cycling as well. You're reducing your cooldown all over the place, so you have more heals, more dots, more chances to attack and stuff like that. And also, she does have her own heal. Restore 15% of HP to all allies and increase their crit resistance rate for 2 turns. So all in all, she does make up for, not only is she increasing her turn cycles, but she's also doing some kind of heal, which is awesome. More heals the better, right? And then moving on to the final 2 spots. Okay, so this is where the path splits. You could either go to the left path, which is the dots, and is the path that I highly recommend as well for new players, or you can go the right path, which is DPS, straight up DPS. Okay, so for dots, let's look at dots first. Who is the best units for dots? So currently, personally, Mummy is my absolute favorite. That's because he has a 100% chance to deploy 2 dots on his 3rd skill, and he has a potential to even do 45% of the boss damage immediately with his 2nd skill. So Maggot, 3 attacks. Each attack has 25% chance, 35% at max, I think, yeah, 35% chance to poison the target for 3 turns. So a total of 9 stacks. It's not 9 stacks, but 9 ticks in total. 9 times 5 is 45. So he has a chance to proc the boss's counter attack immediately just by 1 single skill, which is crazy. So apart from Mummy, the others are Hydra, Medusa, Popo, and Abyss Lord. So these are the 4 more very good units for applying dots. And I would highly recommend, well, 1 Mummy, 1 Hydra, 1 Mummy, 1 Medusa, 1 mummy, 1 whatever. Okay, so you can even have 2 mummies. Yeah, that sounded a bit political. Okay, so the next path would be DPS. You start off with a necessity. I would say that this is a strong necessity, which is, where are you? Goblin. So the Goblin is really good because his first skill deploys a defense debuff. Defense debuff is super important if you're going to play DPS. Don't forget that you always need to have a defense debuff so that you lower the boss's defense by 75%, and then you follow up with a nuke that does 18% of target's max HP in damage. This is crazy. So even though he's just a 3-star, but it doesn't really matter because his damage scales off directly from the boss's HP, not his own attack stat. So very, very good. Max HP scaling damage is always good. So this is, I would say, a necessity. And then you still have one more slot for DPS, right? As such, I would highly recommend two choices. One is Lich King, because he has Thunder, which deals 15% of target's max HP in damage. And not only does he do max HP damage, max HP scaling damage, he is also really good for clearing the first 2 waves very fast. Okay, because his damage is just anyone who has a Lich King will understand. So his damage is crazy. And the other choice would be Fallen Angel. So Fallen Angel is slightly different from the two of slightly different from Goblin and Lich King, because he doesn't do HP scaling damage. He does his own max HP in damage. So what he does is he absorbs all allies' negative status effects. So if your team has been loaded with dots, the good thing is every 3 turns he will be able to cleanse your whole team. And not only that, if there are 3 dots on each of your teammates, there will be a total of 15 dots removed, and 15 times 4% of his own max HP in damage to the enemy. Yeah, you do the math. If he's very tanky, he would be a very formidable foe. So these are the 2 teams that are out there. There's the dot team and there's the DPS team. Okay, so however, my own comp is quite different. It's slightly different. Okay, you get to see in a bit. So let me talk a little bit more about Necromancer's build, in case someone wants to know about his runes, right? So the natural way to build Necromancer, I feel, is to run him with 6 pieces of Swift runes for the early game. Okay, 6 pieces of Swift, because not only do you increase his speed, but you also reduce the amount of energy that he requires to take another turn, because that's a 6 pieces set effect. So the more turns, the better. You could grind for these runes either at Aeroplanes or the Colossus Catacombs. I would recommend the Colossus Catacombs because the rune drops will most likely have a higher quality and potentially a much longer use in the future without them being irrelevant too soon as you progress into harder endgame content like, well, of course, the Spire and even the Arena. Okay, so, but for the endgame build for Necromancer would be 4 to 6 pieces of Berserk and a lot of speed substats all around your runes. So unlike the Swift setup, Berserk is slightly less reliable as it revolves around RNG, right? So what it does is, at a 4 set, your hero has a 22% chance to take another turn when their turn ends, and the 6 set gives your hero a 30% chance to take another turn instead. So this is really good for many heroes, as not only does it give you turn cycling, it also allows you to snap out of stuns and maybe some debuffs when you really need to take the turn. So, and of course, Berserk runes drop from Leviathan Catacombs, which is the whole point of this video. So wow, I've been talking so much and that's really been 8 minutes. So without further ado, let's move on. Leviathan Catacombs. This is my team. I'll go through the runes and skills in a bit. So yeah, let's go. 9 minutes, guys. It's already been 9 minutes. So as you can see, my team is pretty much whatever they have suggested, but except for the Necromancer, I'm using Ironheart. Okay, and the reason for that is because Ironheart's thick and thin that's like the passive that I enjoy using the most. What it does is it reduces 30% damage that your teammates take, not only from actual damage like that, but also from dot damage. So as you can see, whenever my allies take a turn, the passive procs thick and thin. Can you see it above Ironheart? So that's crazy. Dots basically do 30% less damage to my team, which is going to be really important for engaging the boss when the amount of dots that my team is under would be crazy. You'll see in a bit. So that's it for the first wave. No real difficulty here, except when you luck out on having I think 4 orcs. Okay, the 4 orcs are crazy because each of the orcs will be able to land a defense break. So they are more than likely to defense break one of your units, and if they just focus fire on that one unit, your unit is gone. So my Celine would be their main target because the orcs are chaotic type. So my Celine has a really good chance to die at the start. So it really depends on my luck. And also it also depends on how well my Ironheart is able to taunt the orcs for me. Okay, so for this second wave, yeah, I think I should speak a little bit slower because I have the opportunity to speak slower. For this second wave, no real catch except that these fire elementals, they have a chance to heal block me. So if they heal block my Celine, chances are they're just gonna keep hitting her, and there you go, heal block. They're just gonna keep hitting her and she won't be able to recover HP, which is gonna be a problem. As such, Necromancer works really well for this stage, for this wave. Okay, so before we enter the boss stage itself, I want to cover what floor 8 and floor 9 do. So floor 8, the tower deploys attack break on your team, which is meaningless. So there is as good as there isn't a second tower there. But floor 9, it does defense break, which makes it quite challenging. So actually I think this 10th floor is a lot easier than the 9th floor. Okay, so let's look at what the 10th floor has. It has immunity, so erases all of the boss's negative status effects and grants immunity for 3 turns. So as such, you're not going to be able to dot him immediately. You could maybe go the DPS path and quickly strip him and drop a defense break and then just go ham on him, right? Especially if you have Druid, you'll be able to strip this buff immediately. And then of course the left eye does poison. This is fixed for all the floors. And then there is Toxic Touch. This is the first skill of the boss. It just poisons your whole team for 3 turns. And the second skill, Reaper's Blade, attacks all enemies and dispel one of their buffs. This is not such a big deal, I think. For each negative status effect on the enemy, this is where the cake's at. This is where the money's at. Increase skill damage by 30%. So as you can see, my team is full of debuffs right now, but don't worry, I'll be able to survive. Yeah, I'll be able to survive it. Because it's not that much yet. Okay, as you can see, the dots on my team, they are not really out of hand, right? That's because that's the power of turn cycling. Okay, so that's the power of having a lot of speed on your team, your team members, and that's the power of taking more turns because of the haste buff. And then finally, Doom Locusts. So summons a horde of explosive bugs that rush towards all enemies and explode. Explosions ignore target's defense, but frankly the damage is not very high. Skill is unleashed when HP falls below 50% and cannot be countered. So what else it does is, it splits the poison effects on targets into 2, which means it basically duplicates all your dots by 2. So as you can see in just a moment, yeah, there you go. All my dots have been doubled. So if the dot had like 1 turn left, you will recreate another dot with 1 turn left. If the dot had 3 turns left, you recreate another 3 turn dot. So that is potentially very dangerous, especially if he follows up with a second skill. But there you go. Bam, done. So what I really like about Leviathan is he doesn't have a defense debuff, he doesn't have attack buff. So as such, it's actually quite easy to sustain him. It's really easy to sustain him, to be honest. Okay, so let's go back to formation. Let's take a look at our stats. Celine, these are her stats. She's running with Swift, Speed, HP, and HP. So double HP, which is not a very common thing to see, because her base HP is remarkably high. So I just want to focus on the HP because that's crazy, 20k. Okay, and her skills: Celestial Glow, it's a single target heal and haste, and Celestial Lotus, which heals all your allies for 30% of their HP and heal over time. And this is my Harpy. Sorry, these are her stats. And her 246 are speed, defense, HP. This is the general recommended, at least, okay, free to play recommends this, okay? Speed, defense, HP. This is what you should have. And she uses Siren's Guard, restores HP to all allies, and that crit resists rate though. And also reduce our cooldowns by 1, grant them haste for 1 turn. This is Ironheart. This is his stats. He runs with HP, defense, and as you can see, my teammates generally have some amount of hit percent because they all have some kind of debuff to deploy. So his skills are thick and thin, alright, 100% here. While alive, all allies have a 100% chance to reduce damage taken when being attacked. Damage taken reduction increases up to 30% as own HP is higher, so you have to top him up as much as possible. This effect does not stack with other damage taken reduction effects. So actually, naturally, he would run better with defense runes, right? So he should technically be running with 2 defense runes. However, I'm trying to make full advantage of guard set here, where I set a shield around allies for 3 turns based on my own HP. So that's why I opted for double HP percent. Yeah, and then of course second skill, attack break. It's always good. And then mummy, there is the maggot, and there is the bandage dance. So super good for dotting. And finally there is the Pope. Sorry, I didn't even show you my stats. Oh jeez. Okay, this is the stats of my mummy, and same thing, speed, HP, defense. And then here's my Popo. These are the stats. And the skills are okay, sorry. The runes are defense, HP. This is the build that I was referring to that my Ironheart should have followed. And these are the skills. I use invisibility spell because erase all of own negative status effects and increase crit rate for 2 turns, immediately gain another turn. So basically you remove all the dots on your Popo, and then you hit the target, you hit the boss 4 times because you proc a hidden rage here. And that's the second skill, the third skill. Gain 1 tier of rage at the end of each turn. While being attacked, 30% chance to gain 1 tier of rage. Rage may stack up to 3 tiers. When attacking enemies, you use this skill 1 time for each tier of rage. So if I had 3 tiers of rage, my normal attack would hit 6 times. So yeah, that's why. So invisibility spell is really good for this boss fight, because you cleanse yourself and you are less likely to die. In fact, I strongly believe that Popo has the potential to solo the Leviathan on his own. Oh, that's it for this video, guys. Oh my goodness, 17 minutes. I'm not sure whether I've actually covered everything. I'm not sure whether I covered everything that I wish to cover, but frankly speaking, Leviathan to me is 2 times easier than Colossus Catacombs. 2 times easier. I say it without... I say it with certainty, okay? Because, like I said, no defense breaks, no attack buffs, very easy to get into. All you need to do is to manage the dots that are incoming. So for me, I manage it with Ironheart, and I also manage it with turn cycling. Oh, okay. With that said, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the subscribe so far. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you want to see more content, and yeah, let me know what content you want to see. I am lucky to be able to discover this Leviathan 10 team on my own, and I hope it has been helpful to you. And if it has, thanks. Just let me know, right? So yeah, thanks, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.